This episode is brought to you by Farm Bureau Financial Services, Zach Miller Agency. If you're looking for an insurance agent with a personal touch, someone willing to have the real conversations about what's important to you, assistance with submitting claims, and offering quality coverage options, Farm Bureau Financial Services, Zach Miller Agency may be the place for you. Whether you need home, auto, farm, commercial, life, or health insurance, we're here for you. Check us out at agentzachmiller.com. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agriculture Insurance Company.
Welcome back to another episode of Touching Base. I'm Zach Miller, joined by my co-host Vance Neidig, and we're thrilled to introduce Lisa Stapp, the Animal Shelter of Northeast Nebraska Director. And is it Jill or Jillian?
Jill's
put
good.
it down. Okay. And Jill Grovijohn, the fundraising manager. They are here to tell you about the Barbecue event happening this Sunday, September 7th, correct?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Well, Jill, Lisa, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
kind of a quick little thing we did. I know I talked to Shelly Wolf. She kind of got us in contact, and the event's kind of a big deal for you guys, right?
It is, yeah. So it's our biggest fundraiser of the whole year. And so this year it's actually going to be way bigger and way better than any years before. So we're super excited, especially to have this going on too. So we tell everybody.
That's great. That's awesome. So before we kind of get into the event, tell us a little bit of the history about the shelter.
So I will take over because Jill, well, I take over all the time. So so I've been with the shelter for 8 years in March. And so it's grown a lot. And 2016 is when they actually opened the doors to the shelter. It was a foster based from about, I think, 1995. And then they realized that there's just a bigger need than that they could do foster based. And so renovated the Norfolk hatchery. And they opened in March of 2016. I showed up in March of 2017. The adoption for the whole year in 2016 was 246 for the year, which at the time we were like, oh, that's great. You know, we did at least, we're happy if we did 30 in a month because we're like, okay, well, that's one each day. But we have since grown, I think it was 980. Now I can't remember, it's in like 2022. And we actually did 91 adoptions last month. And so the adoption's been pretty slow this year nationwide, but kind of improved and getting a little bit better, but it kind of fluctuates back and forth all the time anyway.
What do you think the cause is for the lower adoption rate?
So are we going personal?
Yeah.
In my opinion. So really it's the economy, I think is tough on everybody.
I had a feeling that was probably going to be the answer.
Yeah, we have, a lot of people that, they just can't afford to keep their pets. And so they're surrendering them. There's not a lot of places that actually have room in order to surrender them. So they've been dumping them. And then, of course, people just can't afford to adopt an animal. Our adoption fees are very, very low because we obviously realize that it is expensive. The adoption fee is the cheapest part of owning an animal. And so that's helped a lot. But, our expenses are way higher than what the adoption fees are. But it's important for us to be able to help as many animals as we can. And of course, putting them in proper homes. We don't just take animals and kick them out the door, so we want to make sure they go to appropriate homes. And, it's a struggle, but we're doing it. And we've grown with our programs too, so we don't just adopt animals. We do a lot of other programs for the community as well.
You guys have some businesses that come in and like sponsor adoption fees or sponsor a certain pet, or is that a thing or no?
Yeah, we do. We not super common to do that. Can I talk about businesses, like specific business?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I've got all your sponsors lined up for the event too, so we'll talk about them at the end of that too.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So on a regular basis, our biggest, I guess, financial support is our monthly donors. And so we actually have Urgent Care Clinic of Lincoln. And so they're one of our biggest donors. And so they will sponsor animals along with their monthly donations or monthly donation that they make every month. But then they will also kind of kick out a little extra for specific animals, especially the ones that are there for a long time. They will sponsor their adoption fees just because it's easier to get them moved out, unfortunately, when they're free or much cheaper, because they're difficult dogs. Maybe they're older or naughty or whatever it is. But we also will have a lot of people that just come in, say they lost their pet or whatever it is, and they'll want to come in and sponsor an animal. A lot of times that's the longest one, the longest resident or the oldest one is pretty common for that. And we also see a lot if somebody comes in and adopts an animal that has been sponsored, they will still pay the adoption fee to have it forwarded to another animal.
That's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
Can you explain the difference between like when you said you were used to be foster based?
Yeah. So before there was a building, basically, and this was way before me, obviously, but basically you could only take in so many animals that a person could foster. So, you had 5 families, for example, you could only take 5 pets or, whatever it is. But I think
like you only, like the shelter only kept 5 animals?
It was depending on how many fosters they did have. So, and I don't know how many fosters they had at that time. But, basically foster based is you have volunteers or fosters. Some people can take 1 animal. Some people can take 5.
Oh, okay.
It just kind of depends on the availability.
Do you still have fosters?
We do. A lot of times it's just, or mostly it's just for puppies and kittens.
Gotcha.
And so we do have dedicated kitten fosters. We also have dedicated puppy fosters. Because obviously you don't want kittens and puppies growing up in a shelter, but they can't be adopted out until they're 8 weeks. And so especially when you have a litter of kittens come in, they're just born and puppies and stuff like that, you don't want them sitting in the shelter for 8 weeks. And then of course they get raised then in a home environment, not the shelter. So
Okay, that's a good thing. Going back to the 2016, I didn't realize that it opened in that March because we got our first dog from the shelter in, I think, October of 2016.
And that could be before like the official grand opening.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Again, that was before me. But
Yeah. I just, it was a cool story because I had never had a dog. I think we had just seen something about the shelter. Like, oh, we'll go check it out. And my son just fell in love with this little terrier mix. And he has since passed away of cancer. But he was a great dog. And then we also ended up with another one, Leo, Great Pyrenees. There was like a litter of like 6 puppies, I think. And we ended up with one. We still got him. But I didn't realize Great Pyrenees were going to be such a handful.
Oh, yes. You got him from the shelter then?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're really cool dogs. My brother,
Great dogs.
I got a story. So there's this guy that he comes in and he helps out. And so I call him Mike the pig guy because he's got pigs, and he's got cattle and whatever else. And he had some Great Pyrenees puppies that he wasn't able to find homes for. And so he brought him in and my brother adopted one and we named him Bacon. So, but yeah,
funny.
he's about 6 years old now, and he's just a big couch potato. They're one of the best breeds of dogs, and they're actually, they're guardian dogs, but they make great family pets. And you would be surprised, we have no problem adopting out Great Pyrenees around here, even as just to families.
Yeah,
I
think our issue was that it happened right. So he had just gotten through. We had just gotten him, and then COVID happened. And so we couldn't see anybody. So he didn't get to be around anybody.
Yeah, that was actually...
So now he's very protective of our family and doesn't like other people.
Yes, that is actually very, very common for that time frame. Because if there's a certain period in their life between like 4 and 6 months old that if they're not socialized with other people, with pets, with stairs, with grass, anything like that, it's just something that will always be scary to them. It's just a mental... whatever.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I can't. Yeah. It's just it just doesn't work in their brain, and like if they don't get that experience during that time, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, he's great with like 6 people.
Yeah,
and that's about it.
Yeah, very, very common.
But he's very loving to those 6 people.
Yeah. And it doesn't, it's especially with breeds like that, you got your German Shepherds too and your Australian Shepherds and any type of guardian breed or protective breed, it's double.
Just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's just naturally, that's just our natural, or that's our nature. And so when they aren't taught that it's okay to see, say hi to other people and other animals, they're just like, nope, you're not my family.
Yeah. And it's funny because he does it a lot outside of like at home. So like if I'm out walking him, he's fine. But once we get back around home, it's just it's wild.
Yep, because that's where he's protecting.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to kind of the sponsors, we talked about sponsoring the animals. What about sponsoring like food and medicines and things like that? Do you have people for that too, or the same people do that, or?
Again, it kind of goes back to that monthly donation.
Yep.
That's where their money is going to, is
All that stuff.
All of that stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of people when they donate, they're just like wherever it is, area of greatest need, which is nice because then we don't have to specify where that has to go. But we do grants, like specifically, I just got a grant today. We got the check-in today from the Doggy Do Good Foundation.
Okay.
And so that's something that we apply for every year, and we have to specifically apply for a certain amount for a certain reason. And one thing that I do ask from them is specifically for food. It gets very expensive. So, we actually just had to change the food that we usually use. We get a lot of food donated, but it's hard when you're giving them a little bit of this, a little bit of that, because then you have diarrhea, and then you have all that extra cleanup, and, then you have to give the dogs medicine. And so it's actually more costly.
Right.
So we asked for a specific food, but we had to change the brand because a 40-pound bag was over $60.
Yeah, it's gotten expensive.
Yeah. And we go through at least a bag a day, so it's a lot.
That's wild.
But yeah.
So for both, this question is for both of you, and you both can answer. What does the shelter mean to you?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. I've just been with the shelter for a little over 2 months, almost 3 months now, so not for a very long time, but I think what it means most to me is just making people's days brighter. My favorite part about working there is when we go out to community events and the people see us at our table with our dogs and their face just instantly gets brighter. And it's really rewarding to know that you're making their days better just by being there with dogs.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's that kind of goes into my answer too, is animals make everybody smile. There's nobody in this world, I think, and if there is, I don't want to know them, that you can't walk up to them with a dog, a cat, a puppy, or a kitten, and they're not going to smile. But as far as a shelter, what it means to me is I've been involved for over 8 years, and I have seen a lot, and the difference that it makes in people's lives. It's the same thing, but deeper. We work with Javelin, which is a program with the first responders in Omaha, where we take shelter dogs when possible. So obviously, usually that's what we do. Pair them with a veteran or a first responder that is in need of a medical service dog. And we train them together to be certified as an actual service dog that can go with them anywhere. And it's all free of charge to them. So the adoption fee is paid for, the training is paid for through Javelin. And so certain things like that, I'm a veteran, and I've got some buddies that, they have unofficial service dogs. And so the difference literally the life-saving difference for the people is something that's very, very important to me. But it also goes back to the life-saving of the dogs. We get a lot of dogs from Texas that are on a euthanasia list. So basically, the further south you go, the bigger problem is with dogs. Cats are a problem kind of everywhere, but the animals, they're euthanized thousands a day, the lower states.
Yeah.
And so I say that we take the unwanteds. I work with 2 different shelters in Texas, Cleburne and Arlington. And, we'll take the dogs that are heartworm positive, or they, have a skin infection, or they're considered bitey. We take those and we're able to rehabilitate them and find them good, loving homes. And so, we're saving people's lives, but we're also literally saving animals' lives.
Right.
And there's really no other job that's that rewarding. Maybe a doctor or a nurse.
Right. Well, and thank you for your service, too.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
So are you full-time out there then as the director?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is there other full-time employees?
Yes, pretty much everybody.
Pretty much everybody?
Yeah, it is a full-time thing. Everybody is, 40 hours, but it's an ongoing thing. Like someone had asked me earlier, said somebody, "Oh, did you get a 3-day weekend?" I'm like, "Well, technically I did because, I'm the boss out there, but we have to be there. The staff has to be there. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas. It doesn't matter if there's 8 foot of snow on the ground. Somebody has to be there." And so, full time and then some.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. That's kind of the reason that shelters are needed, because people don't. I've grown up on a farm, so I understand animals require 365.
Exactly.
And some people don't. And so, like, I want to ask this question because we're kind of getting into that, and I just brought it up. But, like, do you guys also do outreaches, like, to educate people? Maybe you shouldn't be getting an animal. Maybe you need to stop this, and then we won't be in this situation of having more animals to be. Is that part of your guys' mission to also educate people that, like, if you're not going to take care of an animal, you shouldn't have an animal?
Absolutely. So one of the things we do is we go out to schools, usually when we're invited to go out there, but we go out and we educate, and actually go through what does it take to be a pet owner. And I have, I go through this whole thing. I've got flyers, and you start off with what's the first thing you need. You need a home, you need food, you need health care, you need love, you need training, exercise. Because that's kind of a big thing when we get people adopt puppies. Oh, it's so cute and cuddly. They take them home and they don't do, enough training and exercise, and we get them back when they're, 6 or 8 months old. And so, yeah, there's a lot of education. And, we have people come in that, they live in an apartment and they want to get a dog, and they're technically approved for a dog through their landlord, but then they want to get, a 6-month-old healer mix or something.
Yeah, not a good, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, well, I'll take it for a walk every day. I'm like, no, And so, yeah, we will not adopt out an animal that's not for the right fit.
I'm not the right person for this because I am against, like, indoor dogs. Like, I'm massively against it because I've grown up on a farm. I love a farm dog. Farm dogs are great. Our farm dogs have a section, or a quarter section or whatever they have. They have run of whatever. Like, I'm big on that. Like, I don't like seeing a dog in a house. It's hard for me. It's just something that I've grown up with. Like, I think they're an outdoor dog, and you put them in the barn, or they can get in out of the elements. They're a natural animal, but I've always been that way. It's just hard on me to see that type of thing.
When he's around him, he loves up on him just the same.
I do.
So.
I love animals. I've grown up. I grew up on a farm. I take care of animals. That's what I do. But it's still like I see people, like when you said people in an apartment. Like, come on,
Yeah.
You're just not there. It's not that point in your time yet. Like, that's the way I believe. But I get it.
Speaking of the hard thing, I'll tell you a little bit about the story about Leo when we first got him the Great Pyrenees. He was whatever the time frame they could be, because you said 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably 8 to 12 weeks, somewhere in there. And we get him in the back of our Tahoe, and we're taking him home, and we get about to the milk processing plant, and he pooped all over the back end of it. It was everywhere, because not only did he do it, it was like diarrhea, and then he was kicking it all around. That was one of the worst experiences I've probably ever been a part of, but we kept him. We got through it.
Were you like, we're just going to turn around right now and bring him
No,
back?
I wasn't going to do that. That I would have been more embarrassed to do that, I think. But yeah, no, it was just a funny story we still tell, because my son smelled it first, and he's like, "What does that smell?" I said, "Oh, it's probably just we were just going by the processing plant, so it's probably just the smell in the air." And then I get a whiff, and I'm like, "Oh no!" Rolled all the windows down, and yeah. So that was kind of a funny little story about that one. So, sorry, I interrupted you though. I think you were saying something.
Oh no, I was going to go along with that. Yeah, so I grew up on a farm also, or on an acreage. We didn't farm, but we always had outdoor dogs. My mom still has outdoor dogs. We have farm cats, and so that's one thing. Actually, I think is better about the shelters. There's other shelters and rescues, especially, that won't adopt cats or dogs to be outdoors, or if you don't have a fenced-in yard. One of the biggest things with adoptions nationally is the bottleneck of that, and shelters requiring and
so they won't even let people at the farm to adopt them if you can't put them in a cage or something.
correct.
That's just crazy to me. That's
And see,
asinine to me.
you're going to have people going both ways. They're going to
Yeah.
have, people like you, and then there's going to be the other person like, oh my God, how would you leave them outside? And
It's
you know,
training. Just train them.
it is,
But-
and it's the safety thing. Do you live off of a highway and you want to have your dog outside? Well, I'm not going to support that. But, and farm cats, we get a lot of cats. They don't want to be indoor cats. They were strays or whatever it is, and they just do not want to be around people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, their job is to eat mice. So, as long as you have a shop or a barn where you can keep them safe and you can safely away from traffic, that's where they belong.
Yeah.
So, there is a dog for every home. There's a home for every dog.
Yeah, got it. Outside of what we've already talked about, what are the biggest needs you have at the shelter? Outside of like the food and the
Definitely volunteers is one of them. We do have full-time employees, but volunteers are really what keep us going overall. I don't even know how many volunteers have we had.
So we have about 2,000 registered volunteers that come through every year, but that's also the people that come in for the weekend, to do community service or whatever it is, or just one time. But
You guys do sign off on community service type stuff?
we do.
Okay. Just as
I,
I'm not talking for the criminal side, like, because I know when I went through school, like I had to have it to graduate. Like it was part of being FFA, 4-H, all that type of stuff. I had to have it, so I just didn't know.
That's been more and more common, especially with college students, that they have to do community service. It's like 8 hours maybe of community service, but people do choose it. Choose us a lot,
Gotcha.
and it depends if you're there for community service. I'm the mean one, and you're the one that gets to pick up poop and do laundry. But if you just want to come out and have fun, then you get to play with the puppies.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, volunteers definitely. Basically, the more people we have there to spoil the animals, the better. So
Got it.
I need $8 million and as many volunteers as possible.
There you go. There you go. What is one thing you wish the community knew more about the shelter?
Definitely all the programs that we have. I know Lisa touched based on Javelin, but we also have programs that benefit kids in the community, the elderly population, as well as
I'm trying to go through.
There's so many.
Yeah, so we have, vets get pets. So for the veterans, even if they don't need a service dog, they don't pay an adoption fee. Pets for the elderly, technically, I did not name that, but they get a discount for adoptions if you're 60 or over. We work with the Norfolk Library. We do pause to read. And so the kids actually come in, they read to the animals, and they can pick whatever animal we have at the time. That is a summer program, but we will do it anytime. It doesn't matter if you're 5 or 50. You can come in and read to an animal. We also have, it's a Pause for Hope program is what we call it. It started off with Bright Horizons. And so one thing that people don't really know is a lot of victims of domestic abuse will not leave because their animals are threatened. And so, it's one thing to leave yourself or your children, but what do you do with your dog? Because you can't take your dog to a human shelter.
I know what you mean.
And so we actually will take from them, they just bring their animal. It doesn't matter what it is. And we'll take it free for 30 days. If they need vaccinations, we do vaccinations. If they're not spayed or neutered, we offer to do that for free just because that helps us in the long run.
Do you do that on all animal? I was going to ask that. Do you spay or neuter everything that comes through the shelter?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We don't do like rabbits and stuff. But
I
dogs
mean,
and
like your
cats,
normal pets, to get out, they have to be spayed or neutered.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Fully vaccinated, microchipped. Dogs are tested for heart disease. Basically everything that needs to be done or should be done is done before the animal leaves. And so we do that for them as well at no charge. Just they have enough on their plate, so they don't need to worry about that. And that kind of expanded to, so we just, had the program for Bright Horizons. Well, then it was shortly after I started there, we had a gentleman come in. He was homeless. It was like January. It was minus 25 outside. And he came in and he said, I need to surrender my dog. And I was like, well, why? We always ask everybody why. And he said, well, I'm homeless. I can stay at the homeless shelter, the human shelter. But he couldn't have his dog. And so he's like, if I leave him in the car, he's going to freeze to death. And I said, you're not giving up your dog. He's like 16, 17-year-old dog, a Westie named Buddy. And I said, you're not surrendering your dog. I'll take care of him. And so that's where it expanded to the major, Pause for Hope. So if you become homeless, if you, have to leave for domestic reasons, if you have to go into like a drug program, any reason that you cannot take your animal, or care for your animal temporarily, we'll take that animal for you because, they're part of the family. And especially for people that are suffering with depression or drug issues or anything else, you can't take that animal away from them.
Do you have a good return rate on that? For overall, do you have is there a good rate of return that they take it back? Or do you have very many? Do you have many actually surrendered is what I was trying to get to.
Right. I was like, what
Yeah.
do you mean
No,
return
like
rate?
return. Do they come back for it? Is it a normal, like, is it a high percentage that they come back and get them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. And we have requirements. You have to touch base at least once a week, to make sure that we know what's going on. They're allowed to visit. If the dog is in, we call it witness protection, for Bright Horizons. We have a separate place that they stay, so they're hidden. But yeah, we've had, in the beginning, we had one person abandon their cat and just stop showing up. We had one guy that eventually surrendered his dog because he
Couldn't do
had
it.
had too much going on. And then I think we had maybe one other person that surrendered their dog. But other than that, no, people are able to take them back, and it's just kind of what they need. So what else do we do? I'm drawing a blank. But yeah,
That's a lot of stuff. I mean,
it is, and it always goes back to money. I'm not joking when I say I need $8 million because, it costs between $30,000 and $40,000 just every month to run the shelter. And then of course, we're giving away, vaccinations, spay, neuter for all these people because we want to, because it's important to us to help the community, but that's not free.
Do you have in-house vets, or is that a volunteer situation there too?
So technically they're volunteer. It's Madison County Vet in Madison. Yep. So we still pay them, obviously. But
so you're part of like the barn cat program or whatever?
Yes, actually.
Okay. My mom got one. My mom got a barn cat for her house. So
yeah, we work with.
I don't know much about it. I just know she got one through that program, and I've seen it advertised quite a bit.
Yeah, so we partner with them. So we'll take in animals, that they, for whatever reason, they want it spayed or neutered, and just to be able to put back out in the community, we help with that. But people that actually are looking for barn cat, so Cammie with Norfolk Cat Project, so she actually goes out and she pays either out of her pocket or money that she has raised to do trap, neuter, release. So they're trapped, spayed or neutered, given a rabies vaccination, released back into the area. Sometimes people don't want those cats back, and so then we find them. That's where the barn cat program comes in. But anybody can go in and take their basically non-pet, these are your barn cats, your farm cats, whatever it is, and get them spayed or neutered. I believe it's $50, and then we offer a $25 discount. And so, it helps because cats are a problem. So
barn cats are like rabbits.
Yeah.
It's just a problem.
Yeah. And one thing people don't realize too is people like just take the cats. We have so many cats, just take the cats, trap them and send them somewhere else. Well, the purpose of a trap, neuter, release program is you want to have a community of cats that are spayed or neutered and healthy.
Well, they get rid of rodents. Barn cats are a good thing, in my opinion.
They are. And so if you...
For farms, at least. But yeah.
And they're not horrible, for a community, as long as they have food and water, so if you have somebody that's feeding them, whatever it is, but say you have 5 cats in an area and you take out 5 cats, what's going to happen? You're going to get 5 more. But if you have 5 cats and you get them spayed or neutered, vaccinated, they're healthy, they stay in that area, they keep the rodent population down, they keep other cats that are unhealthy or whatever it is, they keep them out. Well, now that they're spayed or neutered, you don't have behavioral problems. You don't have cats yowling all the time. You don't have male cats spraying. You don't have a big community of cats getting sick because they're, overpopulated.
Mangy,
And so there's the whole purpose of a community cat. There's actually it just helps. Like the whole community cat program, basically trap, neuter, and release them back to where they came from, because you can't just keep moving them out. You're just going to keep more coming in, and it's just a never ending issue.
A lot of people also don't realize that like certain rodents you can't kill, like bats, for example.
Yeah.
You can't kill them. Like you can get them out of your house.
Yeah.
But you can't do anything with them. Can't trap them. You can't do any of that stuff. So like a cat can, if you have a cat's around an area, there's a lot less bats. Like it is what it is.
Yep. You're probably not wrong about that.
So if anybody doesn't like bats, maybe a cat's the way to at least have a community cat.
There you go.
We actually
don't overfeed. Like when you said hopefully somebody feeds them. The problem is somebody overfeeds them, and then they just hang out at one place. So like you can't really do that, because then they don't hunt.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the funny thing about the bat story is a friend of mine, they moved into a house, they're completely tearing it down. Well, there's bats in there. And so she had a cat. So she put the cat in there. And I don't want to say the cat ate the bats because I don't know for sure. But it definitely helped clear the bats out because then there was a predator in there.
Yeah.
So
Either way.
yeah,
It works
worked.
either way.
Yeah.
Any other programs that you missed or that you want to talk about? Or is that most of them?
I think that's most of them. We're kind of drawing a blank. If we think of any, we might interrupt.
That's
later,
fine. No problem. What are some common misconceptions about animal adoption? One or two that maybe the community should know that maybe we haven't touched on, or
I think the biggest thing with people that want to adopt a dog is going back to that exercise and training. It doesn't take a lot, 10 or 15 minutes a day as far as training goes. But exercise is so important, and people think, going back to the apartment part, I'll take him for a walk, every day, twice a day. Well, for certain dogs, like you got a little wiener dog, that's probably going to be okay. But, you got a big lab, that's not going to be enough, so making sure that people, and we educate them, this is not really the right dog for your situation. But people just don't realize how much work it can be, but at the same time, how very simple it can be. It's just like your children. You don't train them once a week. You train them every day.
right.
It's the same thing.
multiple times, a million times a day.
Yeah. And that's someone I'm teaching, going back to that, teaching kids, I will ask them, what's your favorite part of your day? Recess. Obviously, what happens if you don't get recess? Well, then you get ants in your pants, And so being able to relate it to them that you're really no different than a dog, that you need to go to the doctor, you need training, you need to exercise, your parents trained you to go to the bathroom. It's the same thing for a dog.
Right.
It's very, very simple.
Right.
But people don't see it that way. And so it takes more work than a lot of people think. But at the same time, if you just do it a little bit at a time, it's easy. So, and to me, that's probably the biggest
one.
And actually, declawing. Can I bring that up?
Yeah.
So, a lot of people think that's actually a very good one. Good for me. Okay. So,
Good job.
Yeah, thanks. So a lot of people think that like when you're declawing a cat, you're literally just taking that toenail out. But they're actually amputating the first digit of each toe. And so when you try to explain, or when you're explaining that to people, they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Right? So you're not just taking that nail out, you're taking that digit off. And then that actually can turn into litter box issues, just phantom pains from that, nerve pain. They stop using the litter box because they, came home and they used the litter box. Well, then it's painful. So now they don't want to go there.
Right.
So people don't realize how detrimental that can be. And yep, I've had cats for my whole life and I've never had an issue. Well, great. But there's a lot of people that do have issues. Trimming nails is so easy on a cat, and I will always volunteer to do it for free for anybody, so they don't have to take their cat in to get declawed. So, if I could make sure everybody knew what it actually entailed to do a declaw, that would be great.
That's a good one to say. That's good. I like that. Let's see. Anything else about the animal shelter itself before we kind of get into the event? I know there's probably a lot this is kind of a mixed episode with talking about the shelter and the event. So I don't want to shoot over a bunch of stuff that the shelter, you guys could talk about the shelter.
I could literally talk about it for days. So did you figure that out?
I figured. Yeah. Well, when you're passionate about something, I mean, you can talk about it all day long.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I get it.
It's not a problem for me.
I get it.
I'm cheating. I was looking on the website. So we do boarding. So we do boarding for dogs and cats just in general, for people that going out of town for the weekend or whatever. So we do that. We also have one of our board members, Jean Allen. She has Canine College. So she does obedience classes, several programs every year.
I think I used her.
Did you? Yeah.
She's for Leo. Yeah. My Great Pyrenees.
Yeah, she's great, and alumni get a discount. So I think they're 6-week courses, and then she's got everywhere from beginners to advanced.
We actually did private classes.
She does that too.
We did that. That's
Yeah.
what-
Yeah, and it's
I didn't
so
want to take the
important.
risk of having him go after somebody. I don't know.
Oh yeah. No, it's great. And so that helps a lot because people again get a puppy or a dog or whatever. And we don't have perfectly trained dogs at the shelter. You're not going to get this perfect dog. And so when people call in and they're having issues, we want to be able to help them, keep the animal in the pet or keep the pet in the home. We don't want them to come back. And so now we have training, anywhere from just advice to actual personal classes or the group classes. So we're able to do that. We also have a memorial garden out front. So if you have a pet or a family member or friend or whatever that you want to memorialize, we have bricks and river rocks that can go out there. So all this stuff is on the website if anybody wants to know anything about it.
I didn't realize that's what that was out there.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And Guaranteed Landscaping, Alex and Heather Weaver, they're the ones that actually designed it and put it in for us. So I always want to shout out to them. They did a really great job there. Just cheating.
You're all right.
How much time do we have? Because I will talk.
We got
You
plenty
got
of time.
Whatever time you want.
Yep.
What else?
Getting put on the spot is tough. I get it too.
No, that's okay. That's basically everything. So
Yeah, I think we covered.
I
pretty
think
much.
that's about
Yeah.
the main thing about what we do for the community. We're always looking for other ways to help and other ways to get involved. There is no limit. We're kind of in a situation now that in the last 8 years we have outgrown, what we were doing before. And so our monthly, going back to the monthly donors, like our support, the financial support and ongoing support is so important because all of these programs, again, cost money.
Mhm.
And it takes a lot to run them, but I'm also over here like, let's do this and let's do that, and now
Right.
I've got Jill. Her and I get along really well. And so we're all together. We're like, oh, we can do this and we can do that. I'm like, now there's two of us.
Right.
So, we're just going to continue to grow, and again, we're not just animals. We're not just dogs and cats. We do so much for the community and, we just hope they continue to support us back. So, which coming down, that is the barbecue. That again is our biggest fundraiser of the year, and this year is bigger and better. And
What's making it bigger and better?
Yep, I guess I'll take over. So this is actually my first barbecue, obviously, with it being my almost third month working here. But
she's doing a fantastic job, by the way.
Good.
from what I've heard about what it was in the past, we are adding live music throughout the day. And we've also expanded the time frame by 1 hour.
1 hour.
1
Yep.
hour. Yep. And then we also have a kids fun zone, which is a new addition. And so that has lots of fun stuff in there. And we have increased our raffle baskets that we have. We have themed raffle baskets, which as of right now, we're sitting at just over 50. I do anticipate we'll probably be over 60 by the time
Baskets?
the event. Yeah, 60, just the smaller themed baskets. And like I said, we anticipate that it'll be over 60 by the time Sunday gets here. And then we also have our larger golden ticket sweepstakes, which we have 8 larger prizes, which the range of those, or value of those prizes is from $750 all the way down to $300. So
There's some good ones in there.
yeah, we have lots of good
$500
ones.
cash.
Yep, $500 cash. We have
Coastal
a-
getaway.
Yep. Down to a VRBO in Florida. And on our paper, I realized it said it's 2 nights. It's actually 3 nights to
Ooh,
that. 3
even
nights,
better.
4 days. So yeah, that'll be even better. And then we also have a grill that we're giving away, a Blackstone 36-inch hardcover grill. And so that's exciting because it's barbecue. We thought the grill fit in really well. And we have some gift certificates to some local meat lockers. So you can go grab some steaks to throw on that grill. That'll be really great.
There's a
And
golf outing.
yeah.
See that.
Yeah.
Yep, at Tatanka.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there really is, honestly.
Nebraska men's basketball tickets.
Yep, 2 tickets to one of the season games, and that also comes with a parking pass, a nice Visa gift card, so you can go out and, I don't know, the gas card too. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but
And the smaller raffle baskets, they're, for example, the one that I put together, just because I'm thinking about it, is a family night out. So it's movie tickets, it's bowling tickets, it's certificates to Runza, for meals and ice cream.
Yeah.
And so there's pet ones. There's, do you even have your list?
no.
There's a lot of them, and it's that you're just, and those tickets are $1. And you can just
You
go
pick
in.
which one you want to put them in.
Yep. So you go around of all the 50 different things, and you just drop your tickets in which one that you want to do. But again, there's something for everybody.
What are the tickets for the big one? How much are those?
$20 a
$20.
piece. But it does go up, and then it's 3 for $50 and 6 for $100. So you get a little bit discount. And I think for the dollar ones, we're gonna do 6 for $5.
Yeah, so it's $1 each, and then it goes up. So then
A
the
discount
fun,
for buying more.
the fun thing is like, well, you for $100 you get like 150 tickets or whatever it is, and so then you're sitting there writing the same number like 100 times. So we're gonna do something a little bit different this year, so it's a little bit easier, but it's so worth it, just to come out and so just because she doesn't know me because she hasn't been here, but so like we're adding to the meal. So we have pulled pork sandwiches with R&M meats. They do that for us every year. And this year we'll have hot dogs because you've got kids that don't want to have a pulled pork sandwich, So then you've got beans and chips and a drink and ice cream. So that's always fun. And that's a minimum $5 donation, but free will donation, obviously. And then like she mentioned with the fun zone, the kids fun zone, there's going to be inflatables, temporary tattoos that we're going to do. And then we'll have some ponies from Dreamer's Place Equestrian in Wayne. So they're going to bring out some miniature ponies. I've got a friend of mine that's going to bring out some bottle calves. So if you want your kids to, get their fingers sucked on by little bottle calves, I think that's cool. But and then we're going to have a bird demonstration with Edgerton Explore It. So she's going to bring out, I know she has a bald eagle. I don't know if she's going to bring that one or not, but she's going to do a little demonstration with those. And
that's at 11:30. Right?
Yep. Okay. And then we're going to have a demonstration, which we did do this last year, but with Canine Kane, the Norfolk PD dog. So he's going to come out and do a demonstration. And then also Jean Allen with the Canine College, she works with her, I guess, but she's also kind of a student, but she does very advanced obedience with her dog. So we're going to have a demonstration for that. There's just a lot of those little extra things. We're going to have a reptile show, just these things we haven't
Who's
done
putting
in
on the
past.
reptile show?
It's
Real Reptiles is
Yeah.
the name. I'm not sure
With
where they're out of. but-
Will Abler.
Yeah.
Yep, does it. Yeah.
I figured that's who it was going to be. He does
Yeah.
most of the shows around here.
Yeah. So just way cooler than
Yeah.
we've ever done in the past.
And it's
so
at the Warhorse,
Yep, Warhorse Arena over by Divots.
so lots of
And,
space.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're excited about that, especially if the weather, it looks fantastic, like it's going to be fantastic right now, but if the weather's bad, we'll have plenty of room to move everything inside. We're already planning on a majority of the activities being inside,
Mhm.
which is going to be very nice. So,
That's good.
yeah.
That is
Has,
something
has
that
the
we
previous ones been outside before?
They always have, yeah.
That's
So
what I
we
thought.
started it. I think it was always at the Knights of Columbus, and
Okay.
then when I first come, that's where we were doing it. We moved it to the animal shelter, and then we did it at Taha for a couple of years. But you needed a big enough area, but also to be able to put everything inside was tough, and so it worked out beautifully. They gave us a good discount to be able to go out there, and so yeah. If the weather's bad, we have enough room to even bring the mini ponies inside.
That's
so
great.
yeah, so that way we know moving forward that no matter what we plan, we will always be able to have it rain or shine.
Good.
Sweet. I do that brought up, I just thought of something because we brought up Will Abler. So Will Abler started his reptile stuff through doing 4-H with my mom. So I do remember that. So it brought up a question. I was like, do you guys work with 4-H, or when you're donating animals and stuff like that? Has anybody ever reached out to 4-H? Has 4-H ever reached out to you to be like, hey, we can work on showing these and teach kids, like if kids are going to come adopt them, and just kind of get into that version of it? Like you can show these animals, you can treat them. I mean, yeah, they're a pet, but it can be a show animal type of thing. I didn't know if that's ever been a thing with you.
It has not, but I love that idea. Because we get rabbits a
Yeah.
lot, so we always advertise them depending if they're suitable for a good 4-H rabbit or whatever it is. But we did adopt out one cat, and of course she's on the chamber, but they adopted the cat and then took it for 4-H, and it got like first place or something. So every time I see her, she's like, oh yeah, do you remember the cat? I'm like, yeah, I do. So that was kind of cool because you can show your cats and your chickens. And
so I didn't know.
everything else, so.
I don't know the way to make that happen, but I think that's maybe an avenue to explore, and maybe reach out to somebody, see if we can do a little partnership or something then that way. But I think that'd be pretty cool. I know, and the only reason I brought that up is because Will started his reptile thing through 4-H.
Yeah.
And now it's his business.
Yeah.
As
and
as
he's
an
pretty
adult.
cool. He has a couple of my snakes.
Yeah.
Because we got we get them randomly. I was gonna say donated, but surrendered. And then several years ago, there was a big.
I'm not a fan of what he does. I'm just saying he started it through 4-H.
Deathly afraid of snakes.
Oh.
Irrational fear.
Oh, I love them, and
no.
I love them. But there was a big confiscation in Papillion, I think, a few years ago. The owner had like 700 animals in their house.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and so most of them were birds, which huge. Like they went to the zoo.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
Rare exotic birds. You can't.
Where was he getting all these from?
I don't know. Yeah, they were literally illegal to own, but yeah, all these birds. So we got like I actually had my own little cockatoo. So like a big cockatiel. So smaller cockatoo instead of Goffin's cockatoo. Anyway, she was really cool. I had her for like 2 days, but I wasn't allowed to keep her because I keep being told that it's not our job to keep all the animals. You have to find them homes.
Right.
But so we got some I think we took 30 birds. 40 birds. It was a lot, doves and finches. I mean, it was all sorts of everything. But we also got some frogs. And I don't know if he adopted the frogs. And then we had like some oxalotls. I don't know if you know what those are.
Yeah.
I learned what those were when we got them because I'm like.
From that same
I've never heard of
raid?
Yeah. He had everything. He had guinea pigs. He had rabbits. So apparently he owned a pet store somewhere in Omaha. And so, it was probably a mental illness thing. But I was going to ask him, it's a python, but it's not like the Burmese python that gets like 10, 12 feet. It's one that gets way bigger. And so I was going to ask him if he still had it, which I'm sure he does. Because
how big are we talking?
Oh, bigger than 12 feet.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, think about that, buddy.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to ask him. I named it Phoenix. It was almost like a lilac color. I don't know. So
I think I know who our next guest is going to be.
There won't be fucking snakes around. I won't be there. I don't care.
Oh, that's funny. What is the weirdest animal you've had at the shelter?
I was just waiting for that one.
Or oddest. Well, no, I shouldn't say weird. That makes it sound
well, no,
off the wall.
We have had so many different, like a pot-bellied pig, and it was supposed to be litter box trained. It was not. Let me just tell you, it was not. It was a house pig, but it got too big. Pot-bellied pigs are not little. They get to be 50, 60 pounds.
Right.
So that pig did go to a farm, which was good. But that was interesting.
Did you name that one Bacon?
No. It already had a name. I can't remember. That was a long time ago. And I keep saying we got a pot-bellied pig. I will never do that again. Because it was cool. But we've had, snakes, of course. We had an iguana, lots of bearded dragons. We had, what are those? Hermit crab.
Really?
We had fish. We've had fish surrendered. I used to have a fish tank. So then that was fine, but then it sprung a leak on a Friday at 4:30.
Surprising that people, good on them for surrendering a fish, but most people would just
flush it.
Yeah.
Usually.
It's kind of surprising that they're going to turn over a fish. It just seems crazy to me that happened.
Yeah. Well, and they called an ass, and I so
okay.
happened to have a fish
one.
tank, so it was fine. But we've had sugar gliders, ferrets.
What's that? Is that the squirrel, the flying squirrel?
It's like a little flying squirrel.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Ferrets.
No monkeys or anything?
No, that'd be so cool. That would be one of those.
Until they eat your face off.
So, side note, I used to work with monkeys. So when I was in the Army, and then when I got out of the Army, I actually worked at UNMC.
Oh.
And so I love monkeys. I would love to have a monkey, but I highly doubt that.
A small monkey.
Small monkey, yes.
Yeah,
so there's a monkey that's little, and then an ape is the big one.
Yeah,
we don't want
we
apes.
don't want apes.
there's the one that'll eat your face off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm assuming you get turtles too, maybe?
Yes. Ironically, we are supposed to be getting a tortoise tomorrow.
Like a
A big one, like like a big tortoise, like
They said it's like basketball size. So, they start off the size of a quarter.
Right.
They're tiny.
Right.
But then we were talking about it literally earlier today that they live to be like 150 years
yeah.
old.
They're old. Those giant tortoises are way old.
Yeah. So we're supposed to get one of those tomorrow that somebody found, air quotes, that you just never know. We get people finding animals all the time. And then
sure.
we find out that
Depends
that was
on the type
actually-
of turtle. If it's a tortoise, I doubt they found it. They're not in the wild.
Right. And so it's big enough. And so they found that there's a crack in the shell that they maybe think that it got hit with like a big
somebody
mower.
dropped it off or something.
Yeah. And so it's got some medical issues that we're going to take
Gotcha.
care of. But we work with the college with the vet tech program. And so that's another thing we kind of do within the community is it always sounds weird.
Practice on them.
Yes, they practice on them.
I
But
would say it's still community outreach.
it is, and they're obviously very spoiled. They're not tortured or anything like that,
right.
So,
We're not doing experiments on them.
right. But the kids have to learn,
Yeah.
Right.
And so
Well, you
it's
got to
really
figure
great
out how
for
to
them.
do certain things. So
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
do they bring in snapping turtles?
We have not had a snapping turtle. We get a lot of painted turtles that people get, so Ariel, she works at the shelter. She's been there for 5 years. And I always make fun of her because she's had a turtle like forever. And I'm like, turtles are not pets. You can't pet them. You can't cuddle them. She loves her turtles. Her kids play with them all the time.
Huh.
And I'm just, and we'll get turtles. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to have these forever. Nope, they'll be gone within a few days. I'm like, okay.
Easy maintenance. Probably.
No,
No?
they're not.
They're not?
Because you have to like filter their water and change
Oh.
out the water. And
Yeah.
they're dirty.
But they're super easy once you just let them go.
Well, if you just
That's
let
why
them-
they don't come back. Because somebody just says, hey, this is their natural habitat. Just let them go.
or just throw them in a river. Like, yeah.
That's why there's 10 million of them in a lake.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Were you done talking about the college? Or was there something else you wanted
No,
to?
pretty much just, we have a great relationship with them. And so we're happy. We've done this for, 3-4 years. And so it helps us a lot because they'll do specialty care. They have like an x-ray machine, a CAT scan, ultrasound. So they can do a lot of stuff. And that helps us, especially when you go back to the dogs that have heartworm disease or anything we get from Texas that's weird. They can totally check it out for us. So it's just a great relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's give and take for sure.
I will literally not stop talking. So
Is there
So-
anything else?
No, there was nothing.
Is there
I was
any
gonna-
input that you want to?
I guess
give?
going back to the college, the only thing, we went out there for an event a couple weeks ago when the new students came on campus, and we found that a lot of them were like, oh, I miss my dog so much already. And a lot of them don't know they can just come down to the shelter and take a dog for a walk. You have to fill out a volunteer application to do that. Or you can go play with the cats. And we just thought, oh, that's a great way for them if they're missing their pet and they can't go back home to see it. Just come down to us and we can provide you with cuddles for the afternoon. So
Right, it's not that far.
Yeah,
right, from
no,
the
not
college
at all.
to the shelter. So
yeah,
that's a
That's
good idea.
That reminds me, a program that I've been wanting to do for a long, long time is like your doggy day out. And so if you think about it, the dogs are in the kennels. They get out 4 times a day, minimum 4 times a day, but they're still stuck in a kennel. It is not a home. It's not ideal. And so people that, they can't afford to have a dog or they're not allowed to have a dog or whatever it is, come take them out for lunch, go take them for a walk, take them for the weekend, so just getting them out, everybody could use a dog. And then the whole idea is that maybe they meet somebody while they're out on their little excursion and they get adopted. But at the very least, it's a nice little vacay.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody needs a chance to get out, right?
Exactly. The more,
And the kennels are decent size though. There, at least last time I was in there. I'm sure it's maybe grown and they've gotten a little smaller, maybe, but I don't know. It's been a while since I've been out there.
no, they have plenty of room. The dogs and the cats both, and they're very spoiled, and they get enrichment. They're definitely not suffering in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
I call
Just
the
not
shelter
ideal. Nothing's ideal.
Yeah.
right. I call the shelter the ASNN Hilton because we give the best.
It is. It's a great place.
It's the best treatment they possibly can get. But
Because they're
Yeah.
like 5x5? Is that what those are?
you would ask that question. They're not 5x5.
Not quite.
No.
It's close though, isn't it?
I might
Almost.
think it's like 3x5 maybe.
Maybe
Is it?
3x5.
Yeah.
That maybe sounds a
Yeah.
little better. So it's good decent size.
Oh yeah, it's plenty. And then we've got our huge outdoor runs
Oh,
that,
yeah.
you know, they get turned out and then hand walked and stuff. But yeah, minimum 4 times a day. And that's where the volunteers coming in. If you just have time to walk one dog on your lunch break, that's one dog that got extra walk that day. You know,
That's
it
really
doesn't
cool.
take much.
I can't come out there because I would end up with another dog. So there's a reason I don't go out there. I'd
And-
love to help as much as I can, but if I go out there, I'm toast.
And I'm the worst enabler when somebody comes in.
Well, I'm sure that's your
Take
job.
it
That's
home
your
with you.
job, though.
Take it home with
I'm a
you.
great
It's your
salesperson.
guys' job to get them out the door.
Aren't you sure you don't want to take this one home?
Aren't you sure you don't? Do you want 2? Because like I could, yeah, especially with kittens.
I got a 2-for-1 discount going on right now. This minute, that's it.
That's funny. Going back to the event, you talked about the kids fun zone, so it's $5 to get in, right?
Yep, for the kids fun zone, $5 to get in, and you get a little wristband, and 3 and under are actually free.
I was gonna say 3 and under is free, so that's a
Yep.
good deal there. We talked about the hands-on animal encounters. The barbecue pork and the hot dog meals are $5 minimum.
Yep.
Free will donation. Live music. Who's playing?
We have the Nebraska All-Star Band. They were originally who was going to play, and they're still playing, but in addition, Bob Hupp is also going to be out playing live music.
Okay, sweet.
So, yeah.
Awesome. That's great. And then you got the demonstrations. We talked about that. We talked about kind of the giveaways.
Yep. I think the only thing we haven't talked about is we also have a bake sale. And
Oh,
yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. I don't know if that's on the flyer. I don't remember what I put on there. But nope, we also have a bake sale going on throughout the day. We have homemade goodies from a bunch of different people are going to be really good. So we're really excited about that. And then also another thing I just thought about, we have caricatures actually going on throughout the entire day. So, and those are free of charge to everyone there. And I believe her name is Chanley. I don't know if that's how you say it, but she works out at Hy-Vee and she also does caricatures. So she's going to come out and do those throughout the day. So if you want to bring your pet, get a caricature of your pet, be awesome.
Yes, please bring your pet. Pets are allowed.
Pets are allowed.
Yep.
Okay.
So bring your dog, your cat, your monkey, whatever it is. So-
As long as your monkey's not eating anybody.
Yeah.
Keep everybody needs
Keep it
to be
on
on a
Non-face
leash.
eating monkeys. No apes.
No apes.
We don't want
No apes.
apes.
No apes.
Monkeys are good. No apes.
So it's this Sunday, September 7th. So this will be coming out on Thursday. So people will try to push it out as much as we can so people can hear it at the Warhorse Event Center from 11 to 3.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then sponsors for you guys for this event was Happy Tails Boarding, Guaranteed Landscaping, Red 10 RV, Sundance Investments, Warhorse Event Center, Blackburn Manufacturing Company, Elkhorn Valley Bank, Foundation Wealth Advisors, Growing Small Town Nebraska podcast. Shout out to her. She does a good job. Norfolk Lodge and Suites, and One Office Solution.
Yep.
Did I miss anybody?
Nope. That covers all of them.
Cool. Is there anything else that we missed or that you guys want to get out to the world?
Animal shelters, what do I call it? Darn it.
The bee's knees.
The best small shelter in the Midwest. What do I call it? Yeah.
Something
We're the
like
best.
that.
Literally, we're just the
Yeah.
best. Yeah. So
I don't know why you're limiting yourself. You might as well just say you're the best in the world.
We're
Yeah.
the best in the world. So I just have to pat ourselves on the back
Yeah.
because the gal that we work with in Texas, she calls us magical, and I don't think that we really do anything special. Maybe we do. I don't know. I haven't visited a lot of other shelters, but I know that our passion and dedication is top notch. But she jokes with me. She's like, of course they're going to go to Nebraska and just magically get adopted, because we're just able to do a lot. And
Well, it's Midwest nice,
it is.
Yeah.
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 And I know that we are very, very, very blessed to be able to work with Madison County Vet. Without them, we would not be where we're at today. They help us a lot. And again, with the special needs, we actually have a dog. His name's Cubone, that he's there right now. And he came from Texas with a broken leg.
Oh, geez.
Very broken. And then he's heart positive on top of it. Again, he was going to be euthanized because nobody can take animals like that. I don't want to say nobody. Very few people can take them. And even if they can, they won't. So he has a very fractured leg, but we also found out with x-rays that he also has a broken pelvis. And so he has to heal from that before we can even amputate his leg that's severely broken before then we can even neuter him, before then we can even treat his arm disease.
So he's got a long road.
He does, which again is expensive. But he kind of took a downhill turn today. His kidneys are kind of giving him some problems. So he's actually there, rushed him to the clinic this morning.
Oh,
and
no.
so, yeah, so, but he will get the best care. And, if anything can be done, which we don't know what's going to happen to him. And the poor guy is just so sweet, but he's had everything thrown at him. And now this is happening. But without them, we certainly wouldn't be able to do what we do. We couldn't save the animals that we do from Texas. And yeah, we wouldn't be so magical.
Well, hopefully he makes it.
Yes, hopefully he does. And we do it. We have adopted from all over the United States, top, bottom, left, right. And so we have people that come to us from Omaha, from Lincoln, because we're known for our customer service, our cleanliness, our dedication to the animals. So I have to point that out, because it's obviously not just me. It's not just Jill. It's everybody. We all have to work together. We all have to do it in order to get that to happen. So
It was definitely done well in the places. I mean, it's always clean when you go in there. I would say it's probably one of the. I haven't been in too many shelters, but just seeing them on either social media or something, it seems to be, I would say, the best around the Midwest.
You're right.
So
We are the best.
I would have to agree with you there.
But thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else that we may have missed? We can always have you back on. If you guys think of something that's really important about the shelter that you want to get out, we always invite people to come back and talk with us again.
Yeah, I'd love to do this again.
It's actually surprisingly fun.
It is.
Not as scary as I thought.
Oh, it's not that scary.
Yeah, 'cause
We
I
try to make it pretty inviting and simple.
didn't talk.
It's always
didn't let you
scary in the
talk too
beginning.
much. Poor Jill. She is wonderful, but she just hasn't been around long enough to be able to cut me off with things.
Oh.
So just give her a little bit of time. She'll be up here.
Yeah, so
and
next
we'll be
time
pushing each
you'll
other
do
out of the
all
way.
the talking.
So,
Yeah, yeah. We'll go with that for now.
Yeah, that works. That works.
But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I've not done this before, and so it's cool.
It's not as intimidating as.
Feel like Joe Rogan.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, yeah,
So now I can be like, I did that. That's on my resume.
you did that. Check that off the bucket list.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not as big as Joe Rogan, not even slightly close, but
But
you
this
know,
is still really cool.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
And maybe one day you will be, and then we can
We can knock on wood and hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming on.
Yes.
It
Thank
was
you.
a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Definitely, and I hope you guys have a great event. I'm definitely gonna try to swing out with the kids and definitely try to get in on some of those raffles.
Oh,
I might be ending up sending you some money for some raffles. I probably won't be able to make it. Well, I'm hoping I can't make it. Not about you. I'm hoping to be golfing on Sunday, but we'll see
Oh,
what
okay.
happens. So
Yeah.
I got to be good on Saturday to do that.
We're planning on at least stopping out there and seeing what's going on.
If
So,
I'm not golfing, I'll be out there.
but definitely, I mean, kids. Bring the kids
Yeah.
out. They are going to have a freaking good time.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
there's
make
just going to
sure-
be kids are going to freak out.
Oh yeah.
Like you're going to have bouncy houses and ponies and calves, and like it's not going to want
my
that.
wife runs a couple daycares, so we'll make sure we tell all the parents to
Yes.
to swing out there
that would be great.
on the weekend there, and we'll make sure we'll get this out on all the social media platforms and push it out there for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
No problem.
This is exciting.
Yeah. Well, huge thanks to my co-host Vance Nidek. Without him, the show would not be what it is. Huge thanks to Lisa and Jill. We really appreciate you guys making time to be with us today.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
No problem. Keep on the look for more great episodes, and we'll see you guys next week.